it's often when we dream, when we imagine a wild alternate future and so on, we often make this mistake that we really imagine, and Marx already made this criticism of Plato. He said the problem with Plato's Republic is not that it's too idealized, but in its very ideality, the ideal state, it's just an idealist version of the existing order. Although, incidentally, just as another philosophical hint, I wouldn't underestimate Plato. The liberal tradition is telling us good, more democratic Aristotle versus oppressive Plato. But whatever you think about Plato, you have to admit two things, which are today extremely important, I claim. First, read Plato's Republic. Did you notice that first there are no slaves in it? And Plato is explicit here. No slaves in his ideal state. While, as we all know, Aristotle takes slaves as a fact, and he even calls them, how is it, talking instruments or whatever. Second point, even more surprising, Plato says explicitly the fact that women play a lower role, that they are not allowed to occupy the highest posts, that this is a total contingency in existing society, that in his ideal republic, all, even the top political posts, will be open to men and women and so on and so on. So that's good to remember before you dismiss Plato as a conservative and so on. But so, again, to my main point, so that's the problem. How to imagine the future. I think and by our, I mean precisely all this, from Podemos to Occupy Wall Street, up to a point they were more serious, even to Syriza, all this movement that gave to all of us a kind of a new impetus, oh my God, change is possible, and so on. I claim they were all too utopian, but utopian in a very precise sense of imagining a certain ecstatic transgressionary moment, like you remember, Gaza Square, Tahrir Square, we were all crying, oh my God, 1 million people there, all solidary, and so on. I'm getting tired of this. In what sense? I think that, and I hope we will agree here, the true test of a radical movement for social change is not the big revolutionary orgy. 1 million of us, so beautiful, we are there, but what in English they call the morning after the night of being drunk. Like when, after a month, half a year, things return to normal. How will ordinary people feel the change at that point? I think that all conservatives like this idea that people to relax, they need every 20 years kind of a pseudo-revolutionary explosion, and then they can dream about it for the next 20 years and so on. The problem is the morning after. I'm tired of these ecstatic moments. Let me give you another cinema example. I hope most of you did see the famous, but I didn't like it so much, film V for Vendetta, where you remember at the end, people's rebellion, they break through the police cordon and they occupy, it takes place in some futuristic totalitarian United Kingdom. They occupy the parliament, victory, everybody is dancing, happy. My God. I would sell my mother into slavery to see another film, V for Vendetta Part 2. What happens then the next day? You know, they don't like to think about it. I think that more than ever, we should think about this. Otherwise, all those great moments, 68 or Occupy Wall Street, I will tell you what they will become. Like with some of my friends who were on Occupy Wall Street, it happened to me. 2 months ago, I was sitting with one of them close to Wall Street in New York, in on the bench of the same park where it happened, and he told me it was so enthusiastic, I was crying, we were here. Then his phone rang and said, I'm sorry, I have to run to my bank now, and so on and so on, you know. It becomes kind of a nostalgic memory. Note, I'm tired of that. I want a boring revolution which becomes real precisely when it is translated into a little bit better everyday life. And this is, again, the really difficult thing.